Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox, and this is
Sam, the Millennial Man.
the Millennial Man. That's your channel, right?
Yep.
On YouTube. He has several videos already out. I like them. My camera's moving on me a little bit. So really this video is just to get you to tell your story to my audience, because I know you kind of told it on yours. Right. And that's our goats in the background. But where were you living before you came out here?
So I was living in Northern Virginia, and that's basically the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
And I refer to that a lot because I lived in Nova a few times. I went to high school there, went back there a couple times as an adult. Hey, you're not in this video, go on. How, because people who haven't been to Nova don't understand Nova, just kind of explain what it's like physically, culturally, just what's going on there in Northern Virginia. We call it, those of us in the know call it Nova.
I also like to refer to it as the People's Republic of North Virginia. Virginia can be considered a conservative state, but that whole northern part up there is very liberal and that kind of progressive, trendy type. And it's a lot, it's almost like the Californication type deal going on, but it's like it came over to the East Coast, so you just have these people who, I'm not really sure how to put it.
What's the population density like?
Oh, it is just, everyone is almost like right on top of each other. I think I was living in Fairfax County, and Fairfax County alone has like several million people in it.
We lived right down the road from where you lived, and in the 90s, late 90s, but in the 90s, and I remember when we would leave our house, go to the end of the block, turn left at a stoplight, go one more block, hit a street light, go across the street, through the street light, and there was like a shopping center right there with a grocery store. So, you know, you could walk there in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It would take like 25 minutes to drive there. It was outrageous.
Yeah.
And, you know, people who haven't been there just don't know. So you're living there. Did you have a job?
I did. I was working for Caterpillar, doing electronic power generation. So basically I would service generators for big data centers and government, military installations, hospitals, things like that.
And how old are you?
24.
24. So what I consider relatively young, what you consider, I'm a man, I'm an adult, I get that. And so you decided to leave Northern Virginia for some strange reason and move to the Ozarks. What was behind that decision?
Well, I felt conflicted for a long time. Being someone of a preparedness mindset, I was trying to get ready for this event that I saw coming, and I slowly began to realize that my situation was a bad one, and especially being right outside of DC. And I really just underwent some changes in my life, and I came into the way of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, and I felt this calling from the Most High to walk away from my life completely and turn over a new leaf in the Ozarks with a community of like-minded people.
Why the Ozarks?
This is where the Father told me to go. I think, so does Pastor Joe, you know, I think the Father's calling his people out here and to other places like it, you know?
I do too, and I did a video, and you did a video too, on that guy that you ran into in that town north of here, and with the sign and everything, and he was saying the same thing, right? He ran into people all over that were being called here to the Ozarks.
Yep.
So I think it's kind of funny, here, put me back on film. You wrote me an email, and I don't remember what you said, because I get a lot of emails of people wanting to come out here, and it was like, well, let's check this guy out a little bit. So we went through that process, which we don't really talk about. And then I said, like, come on July 9th, I think I said, right? Like, we'll be available on the 9th or something. And you said, all right, I'm leaving now. And I didn't know if he meant I'm leaving now, or okay, now that you've said I can come, I'm going to tidy up here and leave. And so then on July 9th, I hadn't heard from you since then. I didn't think you were coming. And then at July 9th, we met at that different place, and I asked you early in our conversation, so how long have you been here? And I meant in the parking lot where we were, and I was expecting to say, oh, I've been here 30 minutes, or I got in early this morning, or something, and you said like 2 weeks. And I'm like, what have you been doing? So when you said I'm leaving now, you meant it.
Yeah, well, initially, like I said, I reached out to you, and we went back and forth, and it was decided that I could come out here and meet y'all and visit. And initially I was like, okay, I need to go check with my job so I can get approved time off and this and that. And something felt wrong about that. So we set up that I was going to come out here on the 9th of July to meet the Shofarians. And I thought about it more. I'm like, you know what? This calling I heard from the Most High, it wasn't, hey, when it's most convenient for you, set something up so you can come out here and visit. It was like, no, you need to go right now. And right now is right now. So I just went in and I quit. I just walked in there and I quit. Within 48 hours, I'd gotten rid of everything I wasn't bringing with me, and I was on my way out here.
So what kinds, I'm not asking for like an inventory list, but like what kinds of stuff did you get rid of? What kinds of stuff did you bring with you?
I got rid of my PlayStation, my television, my laptop, got rid of my dirt bikes. I got rid of a bunch of just clothes and other things I didn't need.
And when you say got rid of, what do you mean?
A lot of it, I piled into trash bags and just took it to the dump.
Wow.
And then some things I gave to some of my buddies. I gave them like my dirt bikes and stuff. And then...
because 48 hours is not enough time to sell stuff on Craigslist.
Exactly, yeah. Was able to sell a couple things, but yeah, I just...
and then you loaded up the truck and you moved to Beverly Hills, that is.
Yeah, the only thing I brought out here with me were my preps and some clothing. That was it.
And so you came out, where did you live for 2 weeks before we hooked up?
I was doing a lot of camping out in the Ozark National Forest, which was awesome. It was a great experience. And then I'd spend a few nights in motels, just so I could shower and enjoy some AC.
Wow. And so then we linked up and we hit it off, and you moved on to Shofar Mountain for a couple weeks, right?
Yep.
A few weeks. And so you get here. I'll put myself back on film now. And I'll just tell you that this young man here can work like 3 guys. When you weren't helping me, you were helping Sister Kate with the goats, right, and just stuff. And he didn't complain at all, and he worked really hard. And I was taking breaks, and he was kind of like, dude, I thought we were gonna move all these railroad ties. I'm like, we are. Let me sit down and talk for a little bit and catch my breath. But then when you weren't working here, what were you doing?
Out looking for a job.
Man. And you were looking for a job, because I've had people come here before, young people say they were looking for a job, and I asked them the same thing that I asked you. You came back and I said, what'd you do today? You said, looking for a job. I said, how many jobs do you apply for? And you told me, like, I applied for 3, and I've got to get on the internet and apply for like 5 more or something like that you figured out just like that one day. But you didn't have a laptop because you gave it away.
Right. Yeah. So I ended up having to go to a pawn shop, and I bought another laptop.
In retrospect, probably keeping a laptop would have been okay. They don't take up a lot of room. And so, when you were all said and done to this point, how many jobs do you think you applied for?
At this point right now?
Right now.
I think it's over 100.
That you applied for?
I mean, I've still been applying. I was applying to more jobs last night. I'm always looking for better opportunities, so.
But you got a job. We don't need to talk about it in specific.
Right.
But the first thing you did was get a job, which has you working Monday through Friday pretty much.
Yep.
And then you got housing.
Yeah.
And you got housing pretty close to here. And you can see his housing on his channel, which is?
The Millennial Man.
The Millennial Man. I'll put a link to it down below in the discussion or whatever of the video. What do you think of rent prices here? Because you've looked around, or sale prices of housing.
it depends. If you're trying to go really cheap, if you're someone in a situation like me where you don't have a lot of money, you can find something reasonable for $300 to $500 a month. As far as buying a property, you can get a few acres and like a single wide trailer for 40, 50K.
But if you want a real house, you're paying real house money, right?
Yeah, you still may be paying like $1,000 a month in some places.
But you've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on some acreage.
Yep.
You got a shop, right?
I do.
And very affordable. It's
It
decently
is.
close.
It needs a lot of work though, but
yeah,
I could still live in it, you know.
And you're gonna try and buy it, right?
Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna buy it. That's the plan.
All right.
Sure.
Excellent. So what I think's cool about you, amongst other things, is that you're young. You didn't have really, I mean, you saved some money, right, in your job before, but you didn't have tens of thousands of dollars. You didn't even have $10,000, I wouldn't think.
No.
And you got the unction of the Holy Spirit to make the move to the Ozarks, and you did it. And then here you are a month later, roughly, we're about a month into this thing.
Yep.
And you have a house, you have a job, you're applying for better jobs, you have an assembly, a community that you've plugged into, and it's not like Northern Virginia.
Not at all. One of the weirdest things coming out here was I'd be standing in line somewhere, and people just start talking to you and making conversation and small talk, and it's really nice. You know, in Northern Virginia, everyone's just so, you know, robotic and just stone-faced. So,
you know, I told Sam this story already. I was living in Northern Virginia before we moved to Kansas. And so I took a couple days off work, drove out to Kansas, drove around looking for a place to rent or buy for the family, went back, picked up the family, and moved. And when I got back, my wife said, "What's it like in Kansas?" And I said, "Well, all the women are blonde, whether they're born that way or not, and the people talk to you." And she's like, "What?" I said, and I was telling her the same thing.
Yeah.
You're in a checkout line, and you just get into conversations with either the person in front of you, behind you, the checkout person. People are actually human, and they talk to you. Whereas if you haven't been in a place like Northern Virginia or New York City or something like that, people don't talk to strangers, and strangers include the people you're conducting business with. It's just like, do it and get out, do it and get out. What do you think about the pace of life here?
Much slower than the city suburbs.
Much slower.
People really take their time with things. You know, you can't just go to someone. If you need something done, you can't just go to someone, "Hey, I need this done this time," you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you got to talk with them, kind of make friends, and that's cool, you know. It's just, but it's different.
I'd say it's a lot like a third world country. You know, I mean,
I
it
think
really is, except everybody speaks English, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's a slower pace of life. If you're the kind of person that wants to schedule things and have them run on time, and you know, this guy's going to be here at 9, I got the next guy, concrete truck coming in at 11, and nothing's going to work like that. They might not even come that day. So that's just my experience here. Any other thoughts? The Millennial Man is his channel. You need to go check it out. Any other thoughts on the move, being here, whatever? I'm kind of letting you close out the video.
I really don't have any regrets. I mean, I took a leap of faith, and there were people on the other side to catch me, you know, and I've landed on my feet out here. I feel fulfilled, you know. It's a much better life out here, you know. I should have done it sooner. I really should have.
Right? I know, we all say that when we get out here. It's like, man, what was I waiting on?
Yeah.
All right, so that's just a video for y'all to kind of get a feel for one other man's perspective on moving to and living in the Ozarks. Granted, he's only been here about a month, but you can follow Brother Sam's progress on The Millennial Man. And again, I'll put that link down below. And thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you out there.